would you shut up? Did you hear a word I said? The guys are dead. Get a clue? Something's out there and it's killing people. And if it's monsters, nobody's gonna do a thing about it but us.
Welcome to Second Class Cinema, the show where we watch a B movie and immediately discuss. I'm Tom. I'm here with Eric, Brittany, and Dan, first-time guest.
Hello, Dan.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, Dan.
Hey, no problem.
How's it going?
Welcome
Yeah.
to the place where no magic happens.
Some magic happens. We watched the 1987 adventure kids horror movie, Monster Squad, for Horror Movie Month.
We did.
Yes, we did. But before we get into that too much, Dan, since you are a first-time guest on the show,
Yeah.
we ask everyone what their relationship with B-movies are.
Yeah, I don't really know what my relationship with B-movies are. It's kind of crazy. I don't even think I really knew what a B-movie was until I went to film school.
Yep.
And then I feel like all my friends that I had in film school were just in love with B-movies, and I didn't understand why. And so they made me watch ridiculous after ridiculous B-movie. And I get it. There's a lot of B-movies that are just gems that don't hit the same spots as other, films do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of new to the B-movie thing, I guess. Not as quite, as well-versed as you guys, but totally love it.
We're by no means experts.
We
We're
when we were
not good
talking
at
about
anything.
having you on, we were discussing it over Google Chat, and Brittany was like, "Yeah, he's knowledgeable about films, but does he really do the B movie thing?" And Tom's response was, "He knows what we do here."
Yeah. I know what goes on.
He's aware.
I was like, I always totally ask him, like, if he's into it. I was like, not that I'm self-conscious about
It's not like we're swinging.
the shit we watch.
You think you'd be into it?
Yeah, I mean, does he want to enter this den of debauchery?
It's frowned upon what we do here.
Well, anyway, thanks for coming on again, Dan.
No problem.
So,
This has been Second Class Cinema.
I'm glad we can have you on for such a good movie.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really stoked. This was a movie that I watched when I was younger, and I absolutely loved it. And I saw it again maybe like a year ago, and I got Ryan Conver. He was on the show before.
No, he hasn't been on the show yet.
He has been. Oh, he was on.
Not yet. He
Okay.
was on Studio Cellar.
I got him to watch it. So anyone that can talk Monster Squad with, I'm totally.
Awesome. Yeah, so for Horror Movie Month, Brittany, this was your second pick of the month. So
It was.
why did you pick this movie?
I've been wanting to pick this movie for so long, but I was saving it for October. Well, when you told me that Dan was also a fan of this movie, I was like, all right, we definitely have to watch that then.
Yeah.
This was just something that I saw as a kid, and like it just popped up out of nowhere. I don't know if like my neighbor had it on VHS or if like I caught it on cable, but I ended up watching it a bunch of times consecutively, and I thought it was so fucking badass. And then I didn't see it for years and years and years and years, and then when the 20th anniversary edition came out, I bought it, and I watched like half of it. But revisiting it, I can see why I thought it was totally badass as a kid, because it's still pretty awesome.
I think
it
this
holds
is badass now.
Yeah.
It holds up like really well.
Now, Eric, you hadn't seen this movie?
This is the first time for me, yeah.
Yeah, it's the first time for me as well. I think we tried watching it. I honestly didn't remember much
Probably
from
fell
our
asleep,
attempts.
sleep or something.
Yeah, no fault of the movie, but yeah, I mean,
Do we give a premise to the movie? Is that
yeah.
what-
So that's next up we have Brittany talk about what it's about.
So the basic premise is that a group of kids who are obsessed with monsters, they have a monster club. Starts out as a club, develops into a squad.
When does that happen in in the
is a
evolution?
squad?
Yeah,
It's
compared
like
to
Miami
a club.
Vice.
Yeah.
So I'll see if I can explain this like coherently and chronologically. The kid, our main character, and I can't even remember his name.
Sean.
Sean's mom gets Van Helsing's diary for him from like an estate sale, and from there, the Monster Club unravels this plot that Dracula has to take over the world using this evil amulet.
I think you're making it sound more coherent than the actual story was.
No,
Yeah, that pretty much
That's-
covers
yeah.
it.
trying to wrap it up.
it is.
tight
And
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
good.
Dracula has some goons helping him. He has Frankenstein's monster. He has a mummy. He has the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah.
He has
Wolfman.
Wolfman. Yeah.
Yeah, his number is like number 2, his right hand, the Wolf Man.
Yeah. So it's basically up to these 5 kids to find a virgin and stop the world from ending. being sucked into
Which is
limbo.
very hard to do in 1987.
Can imagine. Yeah, I know. You saw all the tech they had. Those antennas went on for days.
Fantastic.
But at least they had stuff that could do it.
Yeah, no, it was very cool that these kids had access to that. I always like that. Like in Stay Tuned.
Yeah,
When
the
kids have access to tech and they know how
80s
to use
technology.
it. Yeah. It's always
like
visual.
hackers,
Yeah.
you know?
I was always jealous of Ferris Bueller's setup.
Oh, yeah. Get a sweet rig.
Okay, you clowns, cut the crap.
So let's go right into successes for the movie. Where do we think this movie stood out? What did it do right?
All the effects were really good. Well, all the makeup effects were really good.
Yeah.
The portal is question.
Yeah, they could have worked on the
it's
portal.
arguable. I feel for
portal effects
1987,
were
it
pretty
could have been
bad.
worse.
Yeah. You know, I think with the movie is one thing that made the movie so successful, at least in my mind, what I really enjoy about it is kind of what didn't make it successful back in 1987. Like what is this movie? Who's it geared towards? Because it had a lot of stuff that should have been geared towards like an R movie.
Yeah.
But it was in like a PG-13 movie, and I think that's what maybe made it unsuccessful. Because I don't know anyone who actually went to the movies to see it.
No, me
It
either.
was all VHS when it came out.
Yeah.
And parents didn't really know what the kids were watching. And then you get this movie where you have like some cheesy effects, but fantastic effects like with the Wolfman and things like that. But I didn't really understand that maybe the director knew where this movie was gonna be, and that's what made it awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same way. I kind of praised them for using like the classic Universal like Hollywood monsters instead of like you're in the late 80s, you're in the midst of like this surge of new villains and like crazy shit. Like I feel like they could have easily made a movie about some wacky new monster, but instead they decided to go classic like 50s. And I thought it worked.
Yeah.
Apparently, like the audience of 1987 didn't really think that it worked, but I thought it was awesome.
They were like, "Fuck, not again."
Yeah.
But yeah, to me, the 50s style characters felt very fresh because like I felt like I've not seen them in forever. But like seeing them in this context of like a 1980s kind of goofy comedy horror was really fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
How about that?
I had a sweet montage.
Success.
That's a total
A
success.
sweet
And a
montage.
sweet 80s montage. They don't make montages like that anymore.
No.
I love the opening of the film.
Yeah.
I also wrote down
Really strong
intro.
opener.
I thought it was really cool.
Like it just and when Van Helsing and those guys burst through the door and you see the freak. What is Dracula's like maids? What are they called? Ghouls? Are those ghouls? What are those? What are those things that he bites in the?
I think
now they
they're
become
just like
Dracula's
brides
bitch?
They're
of
like
Dracula.
concubines?
Well, like,
Maidens.
They're like whores of the end.
Yeah, like so it's like the horrors of Dracula, right? A Dracula whore, right? They
I've seen
first
that movie.
open through the door, and this is kind of what makes the movie so creepy and so like it bothers me in some level, and that's why I like it. Is this woman's chawing at the neck of a possum?
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
like
just like,
that.
what is going
She has
on,
like a
man?
mouthful of stuff.
I mean, that is some horrific stuff, and I'm 31. I mean, I think it's fantastic.
I like
Yeah.
that they didn't go over the top with that makeup either. They like were like, all right, we're gonna make her pale, we're gonna make her bloody, we're gonna make her have some weird contacts, and that's it.
Yeah.
Not gonna do any weird prosthetic vampire pieces.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with the using the monsters the way they did in the 50s classic, but I honestly don't understand why this movie didn't do as well as I think it should have done, because as a first-time viewer of the movie, it was awesome. Like, it was fun. I really am upset that I missed that one growing up, because there is lots of wonder and hope
At
and,
least it holds up.
and adventure in this movie. You know, it's all those things that you really want when you're growing up, and I missed it, and that's a bummer for me. But I don't get where it failed. Like, I don't understand why people didn't. I mean, maybe the rating, the PG-13, but even as a 13-year-old, I feel like I'd be like, yeah, that looks pretty good.
Yeah, I was watching this movie as like a 7-year-old and thought it was awesome.
Well, yeah, totally. Because I don't know. I feel like there was always when you always want to watch movies about people who are just older than you.
Just
because-
slightly.
Just
It's
slightly.
like what you have to look forward to in your
Yeah.
own mind.
You know what I think it might have been? And this is a thought. It might have been the Idiocracy effect. Because you know when Idiocracy was being made, they
Yeah.
got the budget just cut out from them because they didn't think it would do well.
Yeah.
Or they wanted to put their financing in another movie because something else hit. And I felt like sometimes during the pacing of the movie was just too quick. and they were trying to get it through, and that sometimes happened, or they didn't have the budget to do like this insane thing. Like I think they spent all their budget on the first scene. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Like,
can definitely see that.
that's kind of like what it felt like, or it had a lot of commonalities of films that have their budget pulled out.
I actually read that the writer originally wanted, I don't know if it was the writer or the director, but they originally wanted the opening scene to be like a bunch of zeppelins closing in on like Dracula's castle and like all these other townspeople.
So cool.
But I guess the budget of this movie was $12 million, and they said that scene alone would have like blown the budget. So they had to dial it back to like a dozen townspeople and no zeppelins. But that would have been weird. I don't know if it would have changed the way I feel about the beginning, because I thought it was cool with all like the wacky skeletons like coming out of the under the building.
Yeah, I thought that was really creepy. I wished I was creeped out by it. It's more. I feel like I've got FOMO about this movie, like because I didn't watch it when I was a kid.
Retroactive FOMO.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kind
I
of a
thought that
bummer.
was a cool tone to set for the movie.
definitely.
Can we talk about the transformation scene?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Because that was awesome.
on top of the effects being pretty.
But I
good.
mean, I feel like the budget was $12 million. I feel like it didn't really have that like any big names in it.
But you want
So it should have had good special effects,
like I don't
like
know,
makeup effects.
Yeah, and it did.
See,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
thought all the monster characters were fantastic. Maybe
Yeah.
the weakest one was Dracula, but what do you really have to do with Dracula? You
I
know
wrote
what I
the
mean?
same thing. I was like, Dracula was meh.
Dracula's man.
That's one of my favorites.
But like,
actually.
so you, like start with like the creature of the Black Lagoon.
Yep.
Like,
Creature.
I mean, that suit was fantastic.
That was
Oh,
awesome.
that
Yeah.
was excellent looking. My
Especially
goodness.
in the last scene where he was with Horace and he was just making those like throat sounds. I was
yeah.
like, that's so effective and cool.
One thing that bothered me though is like you have to kill monsters in certain ways. Not the creature from the Black
Yeah, I was
Lagoon.
like-
He didn't shoot it.
Shotgun to the chest.
What is he really going to do?
What's really the big issue here? Like
Just
this,
an over-glorified fish.
we can solve this problem and be home in time for dinner.
Yeah.
Like,
Throw breadcrumbs at him. He'll probably
yeah,
die.
I can figure this one out.
Yeah. I thought the cast of characters, our children, our squad, if you will, I thought they rounded themselves out very nicely as a group of kids.
For sure.
too.
Fantastic. Like the dynamics
Yeah, oh, yeah.
of each
Yeah,
kid.
it's like the main character, the best friend, the rebel, the slightly younger kid, and then like the super young kid.
Yep.
And then
That rounds it out.
We got the fat kid too. You have to have the fat.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
fat
Yeah.
kid,
Horace.
obviously.
Yeah, Horace.
Wait, what did he say at the end after he shot the creature of the Black Lagoon? My name is Horace.
He cocks the shotgun he just shot the creature with.
Oh yeah, because he's like fat kid.
Good job.
that kid died actually.
My
by the
name.
way.
Which kid, Horace?
Is
Yeah, Horace
Horace.
is. Nah, yeah, he got really sick a couple years after, and he ended up dying.
That's a bummer.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah,
Aw.
he's gone.
That's a bummer.
Sorry.
R.I.P.
We
Horace.
were really
Moment of
happy,
silence.
and I just brought everything down.
Brought it way down.
So maybe monsters. So who's your favorite monster, perhaps?
Oh, that's a good question.
I felt so bad for
Yeah,
Frankenstein.
I got to give it
Oh
up.
my
Like,
God.
he was so cute,
what the
and I
thing
felt
is?
so bad for him.
Is I feel like they did Frankenstein exactly right.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about it was perfect.
Like, but
he
it was,
just wanted compassion and human contact.
which is what happened in the first Frankenstein, the book.
Yeah.
It was the townspeople that he wasn't a monster. He was looked at as a monster. I mean, I thought
Humanity is the true monster.
like they kept that aspect of Frankenstein to the classic version.
yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was really good.
That was a
I
nice
liked that.
touch. And
Pretty much every scene he was in, I was like, yes.
I wanted to cry.
Bogus.
Me too.
He made me want to
Wuss.
cry. Like, what is that? That's so
I know when he
weird.
was like, scary.
I know.
I was
I'm
like,
just
oh my God.
I'm just gonna bawl my eyes out.
Be right back, guys.
Like,
Excuse me.
it's like when
Uh,
you see those sad dog commercials. You know? Oh,
oh, yeah, but the transformation scene.
Oh yeah, yeah.
sorry. And we're back.
Seven different.
So Wolfman's in a phone booth, and it like is the shot from one angle, and he's a guy, and then it like I'm assuming like cut. When,
It crossed. It
yeah,
crossed
when
over
it crossed over to the
beat.
next pane.
Yeah.
Like, cut, and then, like, had him
Oh yeah, yeah.
partially transforming. But I liked the transformation scene because I felt like it was very subtle. Like it was just like his face like moving and his skin like bulging underneath.
Talking on
And
the
it
mic.
looked very realistic. Don't yell at me.
Couldn't hear you.
I think one of the things that made it too is that like they weren't afraid to like throw water or like sweat You know, like the sign of this man like struggling.
Oh, yeah.
Like he has the worst hangover or ate the worst bean burrito ever. And then the next thing you know,
Like, we're just gonna douse
he's a
you.
hairy, like, you know, Italian wolfman.
He's greasy. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
He was
okay,
very
good.
greasy.
Excellent.
But
Just
yeah,
wanna make
any
sure.
werewolf movie, that's what you look forward to, the transformation scene.
Even the one-
They nailed it.
Because he transformed a couple times, and the ambulance with the toes going through the
Oh, yeah.
toes are fantastic.
That was
yeah, that was
awesome.
great.
I like that. That was a really good scene. It was one of my favorites.
Oh, we're just praising this, huh?
Well, we're in successes. So, I mean, if anyone has any other successes,
punchlines.
punchline.
I thought the punchlines were good. Was it Band-Aid breath?
Oh, yeah.
Classic. My name is
Bang.
Horace. My favorite one, which I want to use at work or whatever, when someone asks me what I'm doing, I'm just gonna be like, I'm in the goddamn club, aren't I? Something like that. I totally want to say that.
I feel
That's
like all
great.
the kids were so like kiddish, but like Rudy was like such a badass.
Oh,
like they were probably 12. He was probably 14.
Wow.
And he's just
Maybe.
like kicking ass and taking.
I thought he was a junior in high school. So he might have been like 16.
No,
I
I think
thought-
he was in junior high.
Yeah, they
Oh,
said he's
junior
in
high?
junior
Yeah.
high.
So he was
He's
like
not in high
he was
school.
like
11. I think he was like smoking cigarettes
He
and
could be
drinking
in like
beer.
8th grade and he would be like 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Like max.
Yeah, and he's
Oh.
like slaying vampire horse.
He's like the adult of the crowd.
He's more of an adult than I am.
I was like, I'll never be this cool. This
I
is
think
sad.
the way, because when I was younger watching it, Rudy was totally believable. like now, obviously not. He's very baby faced.
He's like Charles Bronson.
Yeah, I mean he is. Yeah, he is Bronson-esque, right? And like I think the scene that made him was obviously the first scene where we see with Rudy, and he's like, "Eat the candy bar."
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just fantastic.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to love anyone who sticks up for the fat kid.
Yo, absolutely.
And then they let him in the club. I don't know why he was hanging out with these kids anyway, but I'm glad he did.
Yeah, like all of a sudden he's in it. There's a lot of those moments in this film.
Yeah.
and all of a sudden
it
here
really
we are.
All of a
moved
sudden,
at
yeah, they're
breakneck
there.
speed, but I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
At an hour and 22 minutes.
Yeah.
This was like a real quick watch.
And if you are watching it as a kid, it doesn't matter at all. It doesn't
gonna
need to
say-
make sense in that fashion.
This
No.
pacing is actually really perfect for the target audience.
Yeah.
But what is the target audience?
Well, that is a good question because it's PG-13.
Yeah, that's
So 13 or older is what you're saying.
See, I think RoboCop and not Eric Decker, but what's his name? His last name's Decker. The guy who directed this.
Fred Decker or
So
something?
something
Fred
like
Decker,
that.
yeah.
He did RoboCop. He did
2?
RoboCop 2.
Yeah.
But I think RoboCop has that same problem. Like they market these RoboCop toys to young kids,
Yeah.
but the movies are,
Yeah.
you know, and they're selling H.
a guy gets shot for 40 seconds in that movie.
Yeah, it's like I'd buy this for $1. Or yeah, his hand like explodes before it was RoboCop, but they're marketing this thing. Same thing with Aliens, but or Alien. It's kind of weird that time frame of movies between it's weird.
Any other successes before we move our way on to failures then?
I think I'm officially out.
All right. Does anyone have any failures for this movie? I know we've just kind of done a praise session.
I have 2.
Okay.
One was that Dracula was meh. But I actually read that like the Dracula portrayal in this movie was like pretty widely respected because it's like so classic.
I agree.
Which I don't know.
Do you think there's a club of like Dracula actors? That
Like how
they
Elvis
go
impersonators.
like, yeah, they go and they critique everyone else who plays Dracula, and they're like, you were more like the Dracula from Transylvania in 1984, versus I was really looking forward to 1957. You know, that's crazy.
I'm
You're
sure
like
there's some
Gary
Dracula
Oldman
elitists.
Dracula.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know how I felt like he was underwhelming. Maybe that was just because all the other monsters had great makeup jobs and he was just a pale dude with purple lips.
How would you do Dracula today? Like if you were gonna make your own Dracula
I'd make him really sparkly.
and put him in a
Go
new
home.
glitter?
Yeah, he would like really shine in the sunlight.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know what I appreciate in this day and age. Like now we have like 30 Days of Night vampires, and I feel like it's hard to come back from something like that because that's just pure terror.
Yeah. I mean, well, because we now have the animalistic vampire, right? Like you just said in 30 Days
Yeah.
a Night. And we just watched Wild Zero, and those had slow zombies. And I feel like we've just been in a real fast zombie phase.
Very true.
So I think that seeing something like Slow Zombie or seeing something like classic Dracula might be kind of refreshing.
That's true. Even though this movie came out in 1987.
And the other movie came out in 1999. But seeing them, that's the important part.
My second failure, even though I can't decide if I think it was awesome
No,
or if it was
I don't think it was
terrible.
awesome.
It wasn't awesome, but I enjoyed it. I know what you're gonna say.
Stick to the category.
Van Helsing.
Without rules, we have anarchy.
No, that's not what I was thinking. So
Oh no, me
At
neither.
the end, when Van Helsing shows up out of the portal and grabs Dracula and gives the Monster Squad a thumbs up,
that's awesome.
I was like, I don't
totally
know.
awesome.
I was like, I don't know if this is terrible or awesome.
Awesome.
At first, I was like, that's cheese. That's nacho cheese. And then after I thought
nacho
about it, I
cheese.
was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I liked that.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
It made me laugh. I thought it was like ridiculous, but I did.
It made
laugh.
me ask the question: how long has a thumbs up been around?
That's
That's a good question.
I guess it's Roman times.
Well,
like,
I was
you
going to
know.
say, that's when you got to live in the Coliseum.
Right. So maybe
Joaquin Phoenix gave you a thumbs up.
yeah, or maybe a thumbs down.
Oh, yeah, depending on his
Yeah.
his mood that day. Anyone else have any failures to contribute? I know, I honestly, I didn't have many notes on either side about it because I just kind of enjoyed this movie.
Wait, so what did you guys think I was going to say?
Oh, that credit music.
Oh, the credits music. Yeah,
That's an obvious failure, but the movie's already over at that point.
yeah, it's true. I guess it just
Yeah.
not really points off. But the original Monster Squad theme song, phoned
Not
in.
good.
Phoned in.
Not good.
Like
was
somebody
pretty rough.
somebody called in and played that song over the phone, and then they put it in the movie. That's what I mean by phoned in. Anyone else? Failures?
One thing I
Dan?
don't really care for is coincidences. Like, I like everything to have a reason why something happened.
Yep.
And so one thing I think is just a huge coincidence that kind of bugs me. You know, it's probably my main criticism of the movie is why our main character, who's really into monsters and stuff like that and wants to form a monster squad, gets Van Helsing's journal.
Yeah.
There's like, at this
That's
point,
super-
there's like
why would it
5
even
billion
be in
people in
America?
the world. This is the guy. This is the guy
Yeah.
who gets Van Helsing's journal.
That did occur to me at one
Right?
point, and I was just like, meh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Suspending my
These odds are ridiculous.
Well-
like,
I'm already suspending my disbelief that much.
yeah.
the one thing I like to say to that is they're not going to make the movie about the kid who didn't get the journal.
Right.
True. Fair enough.
Those movies already exist by the thousands. There are tons of kids' movies where kids don't get this journal.
They
And this
should-
one he does.
They should have made that movie, right? Some avant-garde piece. So some kid just in his room. He's like, and he's got monster posters on the wall. He's like, I should have got that journal. I would have known exactly what to do. I got a virgin lined up.
He just turns goth.
That'd have been funny. I could agree with that.
It's even
Yeah.
more coincidental when you think about the fact that Dracula was also in the same town as where the amulet was, as where the diary was.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of crazy things.
Also,
Dracula just
why
taking
was
on
the
small town
amulet
America.
there? Like, how the fuck did it get there?
Well, didn't all that stuff happen at that house that was on their street?
Yeah, like the amulet was hid there. So that's like a more even because like you got Van Helsing's diary, and I guess the amulet's near. But I guess they would
I
coincide in some
assumed
way.
that happened in like Europe somewhere.
I thought it might have been that weird house.
A weird house.
No, wait, no, that's where that German guy lived. Never
Oh,
mind.
weird.
Different kind of house, guys. I was wrong. Next. So what else do we have for
That's just kind of all I
failures,
got.
if we have anything?
Yeah, another question. This is much smaller or something like that. Why the hell is the mummy in the little boy's room?
I was thinking the same thing.
Maybe he showed up to snag the kid, but then the dad came and he got scared and bailed.
That
Like he was like, "Whoa, this is way too much."
By the way, the mummy had a fantastic death scene.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I did have to speak to that as well
It was very
because
inventive.
when the arrow hits the tree and he's like unraveling, I was like, you know what? They could have took the easy way out and just made him like fall off the back of the car,
Totally.
like just boom, like gets pulled and falls. But no, they unraveled and he just turned to dust, and it was great.
I thought that was fantastic, that scene.
Well,
I actually wrote that under one of my favorite parts.
yeah, the movie delivered on all of those types of aspects. We saw a good transformation scene. We saw a mummy being unraveled. You know, shot with a silver bullet.
So going back to 1987, watching this, and I'm just thinking about this as failures or just maybe like something that kind of hit me like off guard. The
Okay.
use of like gay slang
man.
and wordage in this
Oh yeah.
is like, whoa, this is crazy.
They're
I told
real
you we were
amazing.
gonna hear 2 faggots in the first
Yeah.
10 minutes of the movie, and it
Totally.
delivered.
More than that, I think.
I was like, man, this shit was just really acceptable in 1987.
This is ruthless.
For a PG-13 movie, you know,
Yeah.
not first scene, but with the first scene with Horace anyway.
Yeah.
And it's like, huh, faggot, eat your Snickers.
I think they really captured just how shitty and terrible kids are.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
This movie's doesn't pull any punches and how horrible kids can be.
that is true.
True.
Yeah. Well, good call. Anyone have any other questions, or anyone have any risks you think this movie took?
I said the possum in the first scene where she's like eating out the possum's throat. Oh, that was gross.
I do think it is pretty risky to do like this 1950s style horror, classic style horror characters, and when, like you said, this is this big boom of 1980s slasher characters that are all coming out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
This was like kind of doing the style was sort of a risk at that time, I would say.
Definitely.
Do you think this was like a movie for parents to take their kids to, but then the parents just didn't care?
Could be.
And that's why, you know what I mean?
Probably.
Like, they're like, oh, it's like all the monster movies we like.
Yeah.
Oh, come on to the movies.
That's probably what they were hoping for.
It's
Like,
the Goonies, but with monsters.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be what the coattails they were trying to ride there.
Yeah, that's true. Goonies was what, 84?
85, I think.
85? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is kind of like a Goonies. When did
The mom.
the mom?
The mom is the same as the mom in the Goonies.
Is
It's
it?
the same lady.
Oh, it
I
is?
I
Wow.
forget her name,
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
which is funny.
Mrs. Goonie.
She played the American
Mrs.
mom.
Mrs. Mom.
So with that, any favorite parts? Anyone have any favorite parts? At all?
My favorite part is with what's his name, and he says, "I'm in the club, aren't I?"
Oh, yeah.
Rudy.
Rudy.
And he just gets all Rambo on the situation. And I'm just like totally fucking love that.
Where are you going? I'm in the goddamn
You know,
club, aren't I?
I think the Wolfman kind of stole the show. There's a lot of scenes that I like, and a lot of them have the Wolfman in it. Or like when the Wolfman came back together, like the whole
Oh,
sequence.
yeah, that was gross.
That
The whole
was cool.
sequence, like where the father puts dynamite in the Wolfman pants, pushes him out the window, and he blows up. After we
midair.
see Dracula's been wounded when he was a bat, which is kind of weird.
That was gross.
Yeah,
He was like slimy.
yeah, he's
You're
slimy.
saying with those fluids.
But I think it leaves a lot up to interpretation. Like when Dracula is a bat, you can actually hurt Dracula, and I don't think they pointed that out, but they showed it.
Yeah.
and you don't really understand why, and then they just go into the next thing.
Unless you know like Dracula mythology.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd say maybe that's something that's they carried over. Like
Yeah.
Frankenstein's mood.
Yeah, I mean they kept it pretty classical.
Yeah.
You know, that was pretty sweet.
One of my favorite parts was also a Wolfman part, and I just remembered it haunting me as a kid. Like it stuck with me for so long because it's not even when he is a Wolfman; it's when he's a human. And he's at the police station, and he's just like trashing the place, and he grabs that guy's gun and just fires it into the air and screams, "Lock me up!" Like that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, and I don't know why. Like he was so terrified of himself that he just like freaked out like that, and it was just like I don't know.
That is a messed up.
It really sold it to me. I was like, wow, that's scary. I
Yeah.
loved it.
I can definitely see getting scared of some really intense parts of this movie. Maybe too
Which
intense
because
for
you're
like
a
7
kid, and you
minutes.
don't understand why. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know these characters.
You're like, whoa, that's intense.
why does he want to be locked up?
Yeah.
like you know, like it's so weird. You know.
You
Yeah.
understand Dracula and his motivations. You don't understand mental illness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the inner turmoil one must feel knowing he's a werewolf. When Frankenstein and Phoebe were hanging out and she tried to introduce Frankenstein to the rest of the Monster Squad.
Oh,
And they
yeah.
all ran. I loved that part. Like hiding in trash cans. And she just yells, "He's friends with us. Don't be chicken shit." I was like, this 5-year-old is screaming chicken shit, and it's hilarious.
I love like the editing gag in that too, because like they're already like halfway to their running destination by the time the camera even cuts to them.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, good gags.
I feel like this movie does a lot of little stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's just comical, like good comedy choices.
Yeah. That's not one of my favorite parts, but I guess one of my favorite people is like his best friend, Sean's best friend, whose name I can't recall, so I'm going to have to look at it for a second.
Yeah, in the beginning when they were talking about the teacher, I was cracking up.
Yeah, no, he was so cool. He had like awesome wardrobe. He was like the cool best friend that because Sean is such like a type A, I'm going to take charge, I'm a leader type of guy. That is the exact number 2 that he needs to be successful.
He reminds me of like a poor man's Corey Haim.
Yeah.
It's like the curly hair, like the button-up shirts.
Yeah, not that poor. He's good.
No,
I mean, he's not Corey, I guess.
he's a middle class.
Middle class Corey. Second class Corey.
He's the Corey for our show.
Eric, what about you? Anything you want to call out?
I really like some of the lines in this movie are incredible.
Yeah.
I think the one that really got a huge laugh out of me was the Wolfman jumps out at Horace, and I'm pretty sure it was an 80-yard line. It was thrown in after the fact, but one of them just shouts, "Kick him in the nuts!"
Nards. It's nards.
Did he say nards?
He said nards.
Yeah.
The Wolfman's got nards.
Yeah.
I feel like if you know this movie, like that's the line that like everyone
It's
knows.
gotta be, yeah.
Wolfman's got nards.
Like that could be a T-shirt.
Oh,
Definitely.
by far.
Yeah.
there are
Speaking
a
of
couple
T-shirts, Sean's T-shirt that says Stephen King rules
The one that you own?
that I own.
Yeah.
I'd throw that out there. It's pretty sweet.
It's got double meaning. Because Stephen King does rule, and it's from Monster Squad.
Yeah.
I got it at Rock and Shock like a few years ago.
Double good. Anything else before we move on to ratings?
The other thing you had mentioned when the movie opened up and the teacher was kind of lecturing the two about being a little too into monsters. I had a lot of fun with that because me and Tom were in the same kindergarten and first and second grade class.
We were.
And we had a monster club.
We had a monster book.
Yeah.
We would all
you guys would draw monsters, right?
draw
Yeah.
monsters. Me, you, Brad Machowski, Kevin Frank.
Oh, yeah. He was
I'm
the head of
throwing
the
out
monster
whole names.
club. Oh, yeah.
Name dropping. But yeah, we used to draw monsters all the time, and our teacher was like pumped about it. She's like, "You guys are all drawing monsters together for a book?
that
Let me
rules.
bind them for you."
That was sick. Yeah. And then eventually she was like, "Listen, you got to start writing words about these monsters."
And then we
Today
did.
that would be like, "You're expelled. That's a threat. How dare you talk about monsters?"
No, I thought of that too. I was like, "Do you think?" Because Kevin Frank was like the ringleader of that.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
you
he
think he
definitely-
watched this movie?
If he hasn't, then we need to call him up and say, "Hey,
Well,
you
say
say
that.
Monster Squad."
That might be why we all got pulled into the club there.
Kevin Frank, are you still into monsters?
Send us the answer in an envelope.
Hit him up on Facebook.
Yes.
Pretty much every kill Rudy had, every like badass thing he did was a favorite part. During the montage when he was like making bullets and like stealing bows and arrows.
Oh yeah, and
I love-
sharpening stakes.
I love the discrepancy between the other kids and him in that montage because they're actually doing like we're gonna create a club type things like they're making badges and like
Business
fucking
cards.
pamphlets and shit.
Yeah, and making
Well,
maps.
you had Phoebe and Frankenstein who were playing dress up. You had Eugene who was writing a letter to the army in crayon. And then I forgot what the main character
Crayon.
Sean was doing.
He was making sloppy badges like he wasn't cutting them.
Oh no, that was his
postcards.
friend. I
Okay.
think at the
My
like
bad.
the
Business
office max.
cards.
They should after that montage they should have made a scene where he goes back into the treehouse and he's got all these weapons and the little kid's like, "Well, what are you doing, man?"
Yeah, that montage was sweet. My last favorite part was when Frankenstein's first in the treehouse and she's saying how she taught him how to talk, like all the words he knows, and he's like bogus, and then he's like looking out the window and accidentally like makes the camera take a picture, and like the sound scares him, and he just goes bogus. I thought that was so fucking funny. It was like perfectly timed.
Yeah, I mean,
And that actor is a great actor, Tom Noonan. He's in a ton of shit.
it's not a favorite part. It's kind of a bummer, but it happened in the movie, and it made me feel stuff. It was when Dracula blew up the clubhouse, tossed in some dynamite because he's like a demolitions man.
Yeah, we determined that he was a
Oh, yeah,
demolitions
a
expert
nom.
because he was a nom.
That's right. And he blew up the clubhouse, and I was like, oh, man. And, like, the shot of the clubhouse, like, right before the dynamite goes in, and you see some awesome posters, like a Godzilla action figure there, and I'm just like, all that shit's about to go. And that's such a bummer.
That
So I
was a
would
bummer.
love to have been there.
That was a pretty sweet
Oh, that
clubhouse.
was awesome. Clubhouse.
It looked rickety as fuck. But it was pretty sweet.
It supported Frankenstein and, like, 6 kids. It was sturdy as
You're
hell.
good to go.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to watch the drive-in on the roof?
Ooh. That's a nice... man, once again, this movie bums me out.
A lot of good.
I'm so envious.
Yeah.
That was in that movie Now and Then with Christina Ricci, and I was always really envious of it.
Does this movie like remind you of anything or share any similarities between any other movies? Maybe. I don't know. During the time period.
I mean, we touched on like Goonies and stuff. What else do you have in mind?
Yeah, it's just weird because of the mix of who these kids are and what they're dealing with, but witches. Like some witches, kind of the way, not so much the book, but like the way it kind of goes about and how it scared the crap out of me when I was younger.
Witches is scary.
Sure.
The makeup in that movie is terrifying.
Yeah, and I even think it might even have stuff to do with like Donnie Darko. Like I think it's just like, it's kind of weird, like this high school with almost like...
It's probably the same time period. I think Donnie Darko was supposed to be in like the late 80s.
Yeah, maybe that's it then. And there's just something, I get the same
similar
feeling,
wardrobe.
even though it's a completely different movie.
Yeah.
It's not like existential by any means, but like, I don't know, it's just weird. I just got that feeling.
You got vibes from those other movies?
Yeah, I really do.
Similarities.
Yeah. That's good to know. So, is it ratings time?
One more question.
Oh, you got a question?
I got a question. Maybe
That's
I got
good.
2 questions, all right? Our movies. Should we just start making our movies for kids?
Yes. Fucking, I've been saying this.
Like,
Well, explain yourself.
I mean, parents aren't really like, keeping tabs on what kids are watching anyway. When kids rent movies or something like that, usually right now what they're doing is they're streaming it. So like, you're not going to the movies to watch an R movie anyway with your family, but like when mom's gone, you have her, HBO account or her, Amazon account or something like that. She's like, yeah, whatever, just rent a movie if you need to. It's different now. It's not like you're going to a VHS store where someone can be like, you're not 13, you really shouldn't buy this movie. Now it's just like hit OK on the computer. And so now I think more than ever, even though we don't do it, there is a market for rated R kids movies. And I think Monster Squad should be, if they're going to remake it, should be the first one.
Yeah.
This movie doesn't even need to be remade. That's perfect. But I feel like parents these days have like faux moral outrage. Like if they saw somebody get killed in a movie, they would like try to boycott the movie. But they let their kids sit on their fucking cell phones 24 hours a day. Like they could be watching someone getting beheaded by ISIS, and you wouldn't know or care because you're not paying attention to them.
You just got political.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I really
like,
hate when parents like censor what their kids watch, but then don't pay
Fox
attention
News
to
Brittany coming out.
That's an insult.
Sorry, I'm kidding.
But no, I hate when parents censor what their kids watch and act like they're so concerned about them seeing adult content. Like, kids are fucking smarter than you think.
Yeah.
We'd go over this so much on the podcast.
Yeah.
During Kids Month, we were like, parents underestimate children.
They really do. And if they didn't, I think we'd be a lot better off for it. But my parents rarely censored me. I was
I wasn't allowed to watch
Left.
The Exorcist, and
Yeah.
that's it.
I was left alone.
left to my own devices in a basement with tons of movies.
I thought you were going to say a carton of milk. I don't know.
It's because I'm a grown up. That's why.
Good luck, son. Here's your milk for the day.
Good luck. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to watch The Exorcist. And
Dude, what is it with parents and The Exorcist? Mine was
It was
got
like
the
the scariest thing they ever saw.
Yeah.
And then by the time we saw it, we were like, that's it?
I was like, that was awesome. I'm fine, but that was awesome. But no, I watched some really fucked up shit growing up, and I think I'm better off for it. I don't know. But we know some people who don't like that. I was just talking about this, like don't like getting scared, don't like that horror movie feel. They just don't enjoy those moments, that feeling, I guess. I'm just like, that's all I want.
I feel like it helps you grow up because you're faced with things you don't understand. And like when I was a kid, if I saw something in a movie and I didn't get it, sometimes it would make me really uncomfortable and it would bother me and make me want to find out what it was. And then finding out what it was would make that discomfort go away.
Yeah.
And it just made me want to learn more. If that makes sense.
I was going to totally agree with you because I remember getting scared the first time I saw Nightmare on Elm Street, right? And after I saw Nightmare on Elm Street for a good week, I'm doing a shitload of thinking. Right? You know what I mean?
First of all, do I ever want to sleep
your
again?
mind is exercising like it might be the lack of sleep, but
like you have to learn how to cope.
There's a lot of crap going on, and that might be healthy in some ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the exposure helps.
We're fairly balanced individuals.
I think so.
Are we? We do this.
That is true. We're doing this.
For fun.
All right, it's ratings time now.
Rat it.
So let's rate it then.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with.
Yeah,
fuck
I'm gonna
you.
have to give it an unfortunate fuck off.
Oh my god, my fucking father.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Fuck you.
All right, let's rate Monster Squad 1987. Who would like to begin rating it?
Fuck yeah.
All right, fuck yeah from Brittany.
Yeah, I love this movie. It lived up to my childhood nostalgia.
That's good.
It was great.
That's a good thing because I feel like the percentage of movies that survive nostalgia are few.
Very, very slim. And
Like
this
Blade.
was one
Ooh.
that did.
Like Blade.
We discussed that earlier.
That was so bad. Dan, what? You're familiar with? I explained the rating system.
Yeah. Fuck yeah is the best, right?
Fuck yeah is the best, and a fuck you's the worst. But as long as you say fuck, you can say it.
I mean, I'd say fuck yeah.
Okay.
It's because I feel like I could show this movie to so many people and it won't let them down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It holds up, and there's so many things that I would love to go and take away from this, and make your own thing, and So I it's awesome. Fuck yeah.
I feel like if you hate this movie, you have no inner child.
Yeah, it's
like at all.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
a
see
good
how you
point.
could hate this movie.
I felt that at one point during the movie, which is why I'm so confused as to why it was such a box office failure, or even just whatever. Like I was like, how? There's nothing not to like about this. Like everything about it is exactly what it's supposed to be, unless you really hate these movies, which I don't understand. Like you said, no inner child at that point. Then why wouldn't you like it? So I mean, I'll give it a fuck yeah myself.
Just remember, haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, haters will hate. Eric, what about you? What are you gonna give it?
I'll give it a fuck yeah.
Okay.
Fucking sweep.
4 fuck yeahs. That's an official fucking sweep.
Yep.
Which is that means we all like it.
Thank you for clarifying.
Just want to let you know, Dan.
It's important that you understand.
Guess what? We all liked it.
For the new guy, that means that's a sweep.
So Eric, fuck yeah, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it was really enjoyable to watch. It actually did kind of bring me to like this zone where I was like, I'm just enjoying this in like a kind of like a childlike way. Like I can relate because I don't know. I felt like the child actors were so believable as like these are actual kids. Like they're kind of snotty and shitty and funny, but like I felt like they still experienced like that kind of sense of adventure that I would have really like enjoyed watching this movie as a kid, and I still felt that as a almost 30-year-old man.
Yeah.
I could totally still identify with wanting to hunt monsters.
Yeah, it's totally awesome.
Can I just say I loved the nicknames that the kids had for each other in this, and like the insults, like over the walkies. His name was Butt Love.
Peenhead.
Peanut. Oh my god, they were so good.
Any final thoughts?
I had a weird thought, and this might just be like a trash thought.
All right.
But like I was so it's kind of interesting that you're in this situation where your kids are uber aware of the villains, of the bad guys. And I'm trying to think if this is the first movie that I think has done that. Like it's a monster squad and now they got to go face monsters. And yeah, that's kind of a coincidence, but I feel like if this movie didn't happen, what would a movie like Scream that came out 15 years later be like? Where like our protagonists or people are ultra aware of the killer or something like that. I mean, that's just, and I think that's one thing that made Scream so successful.
Was the Randy character?
Yeah, or they, the talking about it and the knowing about it. It's
When
almost
it
like
gets
a
kind of-
critique
when it gets kind of meta.
itself. Like Scream is like a critique of itself.
Yeah.
And I wonder if Monster Squad kind of laid aid to that.
Yeah, there's probably some elements of that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a pretty common theme in horror. It's always younger people who are trying to convince older people that something terrible is happening. And it frustrates me because nobody ever believes anything that anyone says in movies. But then I have to really get real with it. And I'm like, would I believe them? Probably not.
My 11-year-old son's yelling about a mummy being in his house. No. Go back to bed, kid.
I'm trying to fuck.
Yep.
You know how you talk to kids?
Scram, kiddo. That's it. I'm not
Not gonna go there. Huh?
not gonna do it. Thought about it. Decided not to. Any other final thoughts before we wrap it up here?
This was a great installment for Horror October.
Yeah, I thought so. I don't know. Most of the movies we've done this month have been like horror second, I think. We've done a lot of horror undertoned movies.
I would not call this a horror second.
Yeah, I would.
It's called The Monster Squad.
Well, yeah.
Really scary.
No, I think it's like adventure first, horror second.
Yeah, maybe because of the rating.
Yeah,
It's not like a hard horror.
Yeah, like I don't know.
It's got moments of hard horror though.
It does have some pretty gross
And it
moments.
does have some pretty gross moments.
I think it's like I don't know. For 1987, it's like throwback horror.
87?
That's what I said.
1997?
For 2007, it's like no. For 87, it's throwback horror. It's skeletons coming out of the ground and the Black Lagoon creature from the Black Lagoon coming out of the water and. You know,
I thought the Wolfman scenes are pretty contemporary for that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the Wolfman running around all bloody. So it's
With the ennui of being a wolfman.
and yeah, I'd say this is horror second, adventure first, kids adventure. PG-13.
Kids always come first. Let's be real.
They are our future.
That is a great thought.
The
Thank you,
future
gentlemen.
of 1980s.
So this has been Second Class Cinema. We watched Monster Squad, a fucking sweep. Pretty cool.
Ruled.
Haven't had one of those in a while. Really enjoyed it. Dan, thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for
It was
having
very
me.
nice having you.
Appreciate you coming by. You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
You did. It was very nice to have some deep thought put into our discussion.
Sorry, and I love getting apolitical. Yeah.
Keep it real.
No child to be on my
Sorry,
phone.
I feel strongly about parental censorship.
Yeah, so we'd like to have you come back on sometime. It was a good time.
Great, cool.
Excellent. If you'd like more information on us, come to Facebook, facebook.com/secondclasscinema. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, and secondclasscinema.com. That's it.
Sure can.
I stopped putting stuff on YouTube. I just stopped.
Not really gonna let visitors.
Nah, I just don't even care.
It's not worth it. If you have access to YouTube, you have access to pretty much anything else.
Yeah, so listen to us other places. Yeah, we're going to keep rocking on with October, Horror Movie Month.
So excited.
It's gonna be
So,
pretty
wait, does
good.
that mean like the most recent video on our YouTube channel is just me running on the beach?
Yes, for Super Smash Brothers tournament. Yeah. So people can come to YouTube, watch Eric running on a beach, cutting a Super Smash Brothers promo for a #1 contendership match that he lost.
Don't watch that.
It's okay. It was a beautiful sunrise. It's
was-
totally worth it.
I really enjoyed making the video. It was fun. All right. Good night. That's it.
Good night.
Go it!